Good Saturday morning to you guys. Welcome to my channel. My name is Kimberly. My channel is here to help you learn how to think biblically about every area of your mental health. Today I'm going to be doing a review on 3 Amazon items regarding mental health that will help your child to learn the same things that I hope that you are learning or will learn. I'm going to do 3 items. I'm going to walk quickly and through just showing you what they look like, how to use them, and in the end, I'll talk about why all of those things matter. And I absolutely will have the link to each of these items in the description of this video. So if you're interested, you can go back and purchase those things for yourself. All of these items, I will tell you up front, are a 5 out of 5 star for me. And I'm going to tell you why as I show you. So the first item is a feelings flip chart. It's called I Know What to Do When I'm Feeling. And right up here at the top, it says ages 3 and up, and I'm going to tell you that's absolutely accurate. I am a professional therapist slash social worker slash psychotherapist, however you want to look at that. I've been doing that for a very long time. I'm also a mom. I'm a homeschool mom. And so the items I'm showing you come from the experience of me using these with some of my children and also teaching a homeschool class or classes for the last couple of years. And so I can tell you this is good for ages 3 and up. And in fact, my age range, I would tell you that's going to work really well and enjoy this is going to be right around like pre-K all the way through 5th grade. When they get older than that, you're going to need to use something a little bit different than this. And I might review that someday. But for right now, just know this is a really, really wide age range. So I have always treated adults, but I'm in a position now that I'm joyfully telling you that I teach children for homeschool classes in a co-op that we're a part of, and I've used this in so far 1st through 4th graders, and they love it. It's their favorite thing that we do every single class. They know we're going to start off by checking in with how they're feeling, and parents keep this in mind. If it's difficult for them to narrow down how they're feeling, because you can see on the sides, the side down here, and then on the side, there's a lot of feelings listed. So it might be difficult, especially if they're getting started in this or they're really young children. It's difficult to narrow down to one feeling. That's okay. I only do that because of time constraints in my class, but please teach them that feelings can coexist. You can feel happy and you can feel concerned at the same time. And this chart really helps them to see this. So this is the first page. Once you flip that over, as you can see, one of the most misunderstood feelings that there is, really important to teach your children, is about anger. And so it shows an emoji face, which is something that they can relate to because physically they're going to be able to say, yeah, I look like that or I feel like that. Underneath it, it says feeling very upset. So it's always going to provide some kind of definition, a short, simple definition to explain what anger is. And then when you flip it over, it'll say when I'm angry, ... when I'm feeling angry, and it gives you 6 things to teach your child or to help them see that they can do when they are feeling that way. And then the 7th one says, I can, and it just leaves a blank. So what I would encourage you to do with this is to use a dry erase marker so they can change this coping skill either as they get older or as they learn new things. But for example, it says I can count to 10, I can talk to a friend or an adult, I can walk away. So this is helping children also for you to have conversations with them about boundaries. Right here it says I can ask them to stop. Huge boundary conversation to be had here. I can take a deep breath. I can do something that I enjoy. And so one of the many things I love about this chart is as you're starting it, you as the parent or the teacher are showing them all the things that they can do. So in a way, you're helping them to figure these things out. Eventually, they're going to get to the point where they're going to look for this book themselves, and you're teaching them how to be self-reliant, which is a wonderful growing skill that will advance as they get older. And they're going to really enjoy filling this out and just kind of thinking through, when I'm angry, why is that a problem? Well, the feeling is not the problem. The behavior is the problem, the consequence. I'll give you one more example of this. And like I said, it covers so many different feelings, such an array from hunger to shyness, fear, grumpy, frustrated, confused, bored, so many different things. And so As I mentioned before, this is a great tool for a wide age range. This is not expensive. I don't remember the exact pricing of this, but it is well worth it. It stands by itself. If you can see that, it has like a flat bottom, so it can stand up. And I would just have this displayed somewhere. If you have like a calm down corner in your house, or maybe in the child's room, but you're redirecting them to this and say, not only tell me how you're feeling, but let's talk about how you can deal with that in a positive and healthy way. So there's the first item. And again, please keep in mind, I have used every one of these items with my classes and with my own children. So when I tell you 5 out of 5 stars, I am telling you that from lots of experience. So the next thing I'm going to show you is called, it's a little box, and it says Feelings in a Flash, Emotional Intelligence Flashcards. So there's 50 emotions and coping strategies all in one. Now this one says it's 6 years and up. I would say that's pretty accurate. I used this for the very first time with first and second graders. They loved this, and I used it both ways. So I'm going to show you. So the first way that I like to use this is to teach empathy. And so when you pick up a flashcard that looks like this, it has a picture of a scenario. And it always says, how would you feel if? And so it has a picture. In this case, it has a picture of one of the children eating ice cream and the other one kind of pointing to their parent, such as, why is my sibling eating ice cream and I'm not? So on the back it says, you see your older sibling eating a cupcake. You ask your mom if you can have one too, but she says no. And so when I've used this, I am teaching them empathy by asking, first of all, how would you feel? How do you feel when you are the young child, or maybe the younger child here? And of course, they're going to say things like, I feel frustrated, I feel angry, I feel confused. And I work with them to help them develop many more feelings than just, I feel mad. There's nothing wrong with that feeling, but there's so many more that are specific to the situation, such as confused. And it doesn't lead to someone getting really mad with their mom or with their sibling. They're just wondering, why is this the case? I need more information. And we want to teach those skills early. The other thing that I would use as far as empathy goes is helping this child right here, this younger one, just to help see, how does the mom feel and how does the older sibling feel? So it shows them that sometimes we make assumptions really early on and we don't have enough information. So for example, maybe this older child earned a privilege that the younger child doesn't know about, right? And so we're helping them work through that scenario. We're also helping the child to understand that mom is in a position where if the older one snuck the ice cream, now they've got to deal with that and that kind of consequence. Or they have a teachable moment to be able to explain to this other child, your older sibling earned this because of something that he did that's between the two of us. And if you do the same thing, maybe you can get that. So that's one side. The other side, and see it's split in two. The other side of the cards talks about feelings. And so I'm going to show you, for example, the feeling of excited, and it has a picture of someone feeling excited. On the back, it says, when I feel excited, I can. So it's very much like that check-in chart that I showed you. It says, number 1, I can jump for joy. Number 2, I can run, skip, and do a happy dance. And number 3, I can smile really big. So this shows them there's a really deep conversation to be had here, but for now, I'm just going to tell you, it teaches your child something so valuable, which is good feelings are okay. They're okay. That might seem like a silly thing to be saying, but sometimes when a child or an adult really struggles with feelings of depression, sadness, anxiety, worry, anything that falls into that, sometimes it can be really hard to welcome in positive, feel-good kind of feelings. And so we want them to know that when you do this, there's lots of things that you can do. Just don't do anything that is going to hurt or maybe even upset someone else. Okay, so there, and this has 100 cards in here, and like I said, very reasonably priced, but so much. I just did this 2 weeks ago with my 3rd and 4th grade co-op class, and they loved this, and I could tell, I could assess them from the previous week to that week. They were already learning that saying feeling words like okay or good or bad really didn't tell much of anything to myself or to them especially. And so I would work with them and saying, well, tell me more. What else could you be feeling in this situation? And I would kind of like guide them into a further explanation. Okay, you still with me? Doing good? Okay, so the last item, and this is a little bit harder to see, but I think we can do it. This is a mirror that I put together. And if you can see, it says this is what the world looks like with distorted thinking. Now, the reason why I'm showing this to you is the two main pieces of this I did purchase on Amazon, so you can duplicate this. This is a full-size mirror. You can't see that right now, but it goes all the way to the floor. And it was somewhere like around $7. It was super, super cheap. And then I bought from Amazon also this film that you can cut to the size that you need it to, and I glued it to the mirror. And then what I did is I laminated the names of all of the main 10 cognitive distortions, and I put it around the mirror because I've been teaching this to the older kids. So 5th through 8th graders really learned more detail about what it means to have all or nothing thinking, to have should statements. And basically every grade I've taught up to this point, 1st through 5th, loves this mirror because it's tall enough where I can set it in the classroom and they are looking at themselves and realizing that distorted thinking means that it is inaccurate, that it is warped or twisted in some way. So they're looking at themselves and seeing reality, which is, that's me. I cannot deny that that's me, but that does not look like me. I am not that short, or I'm not that tall, or my legs are not that skinny, or whatever it happens to be. It's an easy and wonderful and fun way to describe distortions, because I know from teaching adults as long as I have, I've gotten pretty good at being able to describe a distortion to an adult in a way that is clinically appropriate and not just, the way that we use that word in life. But for a child, it's a little bit harder. And so again, the visual is a really, really important thing. And this has just been, it's hard to bring around to take from class to class, but I have found that it is so worth it. And when they see me coming down the hall and they see that I'm bringing that mirror, a lot of the kids are really, really excited about it, and they will just stand there and look at it because they're familiar enough with that concept of that mirror if they've been to, a circus or an event that had something like that. But to then attach it to their thoughts has been really, really a cool experience. So I encourage any of you parents, especially homeschool parents, if you're trying to, really spend more time or can spend more time on these sorts of things. This was an easy project. It did not take me long to put it together. I actually had my kids help me put it together because I was using a laminator, cutting the mirror. They were all kind of a part of it. And so there you have it. Those are the items. Now I'm going to tell you briefly why all this matters. Simply put, and this goes for adults too, of course, but I am talking about items for children. When they know how they feel, they know what to do next so much better and so much more easily. We don't come out into the world knowing anything about our feelings, but we certainly have them, right? Babies cry the minute they enter the world. That's the way that they communicate that they have a need to be met. But if our parents or our caregivers or teachers are not telling us when we have a feeling, what we're supposed to do with it, how to name it, how to describe it, if we can't really put words to it yet, because that's totally a skill, we miss something so big, which is our feelings can lend, is that what I'm trying to say? No. They can modify into temper tantrums or something else that seems really, really misplaced. And adults absolutely do this, but I see that the reason why that's happening is it is a result of not being taught this variety of feelings, that it's okay to have all these feelings. They are God-given feelings. But the problem is, just like the Bible says, in your anger, do not sin. I love that verse so much. And that's even kind of a part of a verse. But what's great about that is we see Jesus doing that. We can tell our children, if we're talking about anger, that yes, there were times he expressed anger, but in his anger, he was not committing a sin. He was bringing a holy, righteous message of something that he had already tried to explain over and over and over about his ways and his thoughts and how they were absolutely still the thoughts of the God of the Old Testament that they knew. But anyway, you guys know all that. Just know that understanding your feelings is a huge key to a very important puzzle in your life. When you understand your feelings, you can name them. You can choose the behavior. You can choose when you're going to behave. If you have really intense feelings, you're going to want to kind of step back from that and give yourself time to, just like that chart was showing you, find some coping strategies that are going to help you to de-escalate that. Like I said, I use the flip chart every single week, but this past week in my co-op class, I was teaching them about de-escalating their feelings, why it's important to do that, and then we worked on developing a coping skill box. And so I might show you that as my next review, because that was really, really easy too. It didn't take a lot of supplies, and it was really meaningful and very personal. So for now, please just share this with people that you think that might benefit from these messages and these items. The description and the way to find these items will be in the description, and I will see you next time. Have a very awesome day.